Well, that was quick. It only took 4 months. Joe Biden has managed to wreak havoc on our nation and the world. Inflation is at 13-year highs. There are multiple crises on the southern border, and rockets are raining down on Israel. Let's take a live look right now. We just learned that our allies in the Israeli Defense Forces have just launched a combination ground and air operation into the Gaza Strip. Joining me now to break down the breaking news, the Daily Wire's Michael Knowles show and author of Speechless, the host himself and the author himself, Michael Knowles. Michael, really quickly, breaking news right now, Israel going in to defend itself. Most common folks would say that's pretty much their right to do. Of course, the Democrat socialists here in the United States don't feel that way. What say you?
Well, it seems perfectly reasonable to me for a nation to defend itself, and I don't understand quite how the left in America has gotten so confused over this issue. There's a country called Israel. There is a disputed territory called the Palestinian Territories, and it's filled with Palestinian Arabs who in 2006 elected Hamas. They've made pretenses for a nation state. They want to be recognized as a nation. I don't see how it is in any way in the interest of the United States to give Hamas a national recognition. And so they provoke Israel, and Israel responds. Makes perfect sense to me. I suppose what's really so sad about this, beyond the loss of human life, this chaos in the region, is that things had been going relatively quite well under the Trump administration. The reason for this is that Trump pursued a radically different approach in the Middle East, and specifically in Israel, than the foreign policy establishment had. You had John Kerry, former Secretary of State, come out in 2016 and say, there will be no separate peace in the Middle East without first dealing with the Palestinian problem. Trump comes in and he says, nope, that's totally nonsense. I'm going to completely ignore the Palestinian issue. I'm going to go directly to actual Arab nation states and directly to Israel. You had a doubling of the number of Arab states that recognized Israel, historic peace deals, and then in comes Joe Biden. He completely rips that up, goes back to the same old strategy, and what are you going to do? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now we're just seeing a return to the pre-Trump Middle East.
No, I'm with you. I don't think it's an accident that Joe Biden gets into the Oval Office and all of a sudden the Middle East is destabilized once again. It's what happens when you put children in charge of foreign policy. Speaking of which, let's talk about Liz Cheney, shall we? You tweeted, quote, can't believe the GOP ousted Liz Cheney even after she received the coveted O.J. Simpson endorsement. By the way, great line. I love that. But I think Cheney and her surrender caucus is indicative of a bigger problem the Republicans have, no?
Of course. And at this point, Liz Cheney has spent most of her time going to left-wing news outlets, spouting left-wing talking points, using the same left-wing cheap rhetoric, and attacking the conservative president and other conservative members of the House. So certainly she has no business running in Republican leadership in the House. The problem, though, with Republicans is that Republicans always manage to clutch defeat from the jaws of victory. So they finally oust Liz Cheney. No one, even her squishy buddy Adam Kinzinger, was going to defend her. But now they're looking to replace her with a more liberal member of the Republican caucus. They're trying to replace her with Elise Stefanik. This seems absolutely ridiculous. Leave it to the GOP to make a bad situation worse. Though I have seen reports, I don't know if they're verified or not, that Representative Chip Roy is considering throwing his hat in the ring as an actual conservative to run the House Republican Conference. That would be a wonderful thing, and I really hope that Republicans don't squander this opportunity to get an actual conservative in there to help run things.
Yeah, smart guy, and from Texas. I know him well. Because of Biden's amateur economic policies, inflation, as we said off the top, 13-year high, and despite record job openings, I think the number's 8 million. We've never had so many job openings. Employers can't fill those jobs. On my radio show this morning, I spoke with Glenn Hammer, CEO of the Texas Association of Business. Listen to this.
I'm going to break news here. We're going to soon send a letter in a few minutes to Governor Abbott and the Texas Workforce Commission asking them to seriously consider not taking the $300 federal supplement as we all work together to get every last Texan back to work.
Michael, he did a survey of I think it was 170 businesses. 80% of them told him the reason why we can't get people to come back to work is they're making too much money sitting at home, which is, of course, Democrat socialist economic policies. But we've got an economy to get back together, right?
I've heard this from so many small business owners here in Tennessee. They can't find people to take the jobs because they can't compete with the government paychecks. So what we're seeing right now is proof of that old communist line that history repeats itself, first as tragedy, then as farce. I was not around during the Jimmy Carter years, but I'm seeing gas lines. I'm seeing inflation. I'm seeing, probably we will see a stagnant economy if the government stops fooling around with things. And I'm seeing a crisis in the Middle East. So it would appear to me that I'm getting the opportunity to live through the Jimmy Carter years in an even more farcical way, and ain't that a shame?
Yeah, last thing I wanted to talk to you about, because the Chris Salcedo Show has been talking about critical race theory all week long. I know it's on your radar screen as well. As a matter of fact, the conservative movement has been the only one paying attention to the teaching of what I call the Hate Whitey program in government-run schools. I have my solutions of what I think solves this problem. What do you think?
Here's my solution. Ban it from the schools. I think there are three options here. You can either have critical race theory in schools, teaching people to hate their country and hate white people and hate men and all this sort of nonsense. You can have the open curriculum. Maybe some teachers can teach it. Maybe some people can teach an alternative. And then there's the third option, which is ban it. And you got to ban it, and conservatives need to get comfortable with banning it. Conservatives of a prior generation understood this. But critical race theory is the sort of thought that stops thought. It undermines our faculties of reason. It undermines our love of country. It undermines the reality itself. Yeah. You got to boot that out. It's actually contrary to education to have this stuff in schools.
That's another great line I'm going to steal. Thought that stops thought. Michael Knowles, always appreciate the time.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.